Adopting Obama's famous "Yes We Can" slogan, Podemos came to be a success story of the EU elections in Spain last May. Created in January 2014, they managed to take Spain by storm in only 4 months, getting nearly 8% of the vote and 5 seats in the EU Parliament. The face of Podemos is 35-year-old ponytailed Pablo Iglesias, who led the campaign. Leftield and maverick, he cuts a very different figure from the conventional politicians walking the Parliament's corridors.
For our group, it was fundamental to negotiate that someone from Syriza would be one of the vice presidents within the Parliament, to demonstrate that something's changing in Europe and that sooner or later we Southern Europeans are going to show that we can do things in a different way, that we don't want to be colonies. Southern Europeans don't want to be colonies of Germany, don't want to be colonies of the Troika. We don't want financial powers that nobody voted for to decide the fate of our citizens.
Podemos emerged from the Indignados protest movement of 2011, when thousands demonstrated against austerity and demanded real political change. Pablo and his colleagues, professors of political science in the University Complutense in Madrid, wanted to turn this indignation into a radical shift in politics. So, what is their vision?
We
have learned that it's a mistake to try to nationalize the economy. However, yes, there are common goods, and they should be managed in a public way, which is not the same as state management. Water, energy, the financial sector, they're elements that have to be under control. The banks have to be under control. Water's not a commodity. Energy can't be subject to oligopolies. There are a number of things that we have to provide under the condition that they're common goods.
The elections were a shock to the political system in Spain. The ruling right-wing Popular Party and the opposition Socialist Party both had their worst results since the first elections in post-Franco Spain. Their combined vote was less than 50% compared to 80% in 2009. In response, they've lashed out at Podemos, claiming it's just another Eurosceptic populist party offering no viable alternatives.
Ideologically, they are a very radical party to the left, and they have a strong influence from Latin American movements, from Venezuela to Peru to all this. And from there they bring a sort of south-north or anti-north rhetoric, anti-establishment, anti-capital, and of course Europe as well in that respect. But at the same time, to widen their base, they have incurred in what other parties do, that is to become a sort of catch-all party. They will publicly claim that they want to represent the people, right? Not right or left. It's the people versus casta, versus the establishment. And in this, they stretch very clearly behind their ideology, and therefore, to my view, they become a populist party.
The criticisms didn't stop there. Pablo Iglesias has been called a freak and an extremist. Podemos's political enemies have even accused them of justifying terrorism by ETA and of accepting money from the Venezuelan government, as Iglesias and his colleagues used to have links with the Chavez leadership.
We've been accused of committing crimes, of being illegally financed because receiving money from a foreign country is illegal for a political party. Supporting terrorists is illegal, and some people said that we do this. No, if they say that we committed a crime, they could say it in court, they could go to the police, because they've used it as a way to create social alarm, which is turned against them.
Those accusations haven't had much effect in communities like this. In the working-class neighbourhood of San Blas in Madrid, Podemos got 14% of the vote in the European elections. Every week, people gather in an improvised meeting space to introduce and debate issues for the movement to deal with. Podemos has no formal structure, no offices, no conventional leadership. Local gatherings like these shape the overall party structure.
espero un cambio de la gente. O sea,
I'm hoping for a change in people. We need Podemos to be like a classroom where people will be informed, will educate themselves, and will learn how to demand things from those in government.
Sabiendo exigir a los que nos gobiernan.
The organisation is totally horizontal and open to everyone who wants to participate. Because we're starting to get organised as a political organisation, and this means that there's a lot of political and organisational debate.
In a country where 1 in 4 is unemployed and more than 150,000 families have been evicted from their homes in the last 5 years, and where the main parties have been undermined by corruption scandals, are people convinced to turn to a new alternative?
It seems to me that it's an alternative party, but I don't know if it also benefits from its populism.
They are a little radical, but I think that people, more than the politicians, should be on the streets. But really, to protest, it's good. To push, it's also good.
We'd vote for Podemos because a change is possible.
Yes, I also believe we need a change.
Podemos did very well in Madrid, coming third in the popular vote. The next big challenge is municipal elections in May. Before, though, they have to decide on an approach and will hold their first conference next month. But they are clear on the line they'll take in Brussels in the coming years.
All that's left in Europe is a political elite, which kneels before the financial powers and external powers like the United States. We don't want any US military presence in Europe. Why? Why, as Europeans, we need to be militarily controlled by others. We want a Europe of freedom, of social justice, of solidarity. And that means that we must face up to the new fascism, which is represented by the authoritarianism of the defenders of the Troika, of the ECB and the IMF.
De la Troika, del Banco Central Europeo y del Fondo Monetario Internacional.
Whether Podemos can sustain its challenge to the political elite will become clear at the next election.